Okay, so as usual, today we will start our discussion with respect to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Today we will talk about the consciousness, so-called the Viññāṇa. Okay, so we are talking about last time, and the first we started Aviññāṇapaccayā sankhara. That means how ignorance play as a role for the sankhara. Okay, and sankhara paccaya viññāṇa. Then we started something about last week about the sankhara. So we were talking about twofold of sankhara. So one is puññāpi sankhara, apuññāpi sankhara, like that. Another one was like vaci sankhara, mano sankhara. That means action that we perform through our speech, through our body action, and also mental action. Okay. So today we will talk about mostly so sankhara paccaya viññāṇa. So because of the mental purification, the consciousness arises. Okay. So today we will talk about that consciousness. Okay. And so Viññāṇapaccayā nāmarūpaṃ, because of the consciousness there will be name and form. So the name and form we will talk the next week. Okay, name and form we will talk about next week. But if we have time, we will discuss today. But as I said, always we don't have to run, we don't have to hurry. But let's try to understand all these things slowly, little by little. Okay. So what is this? Which number is this link? Avidya, paccaya sankhara, sankhara paccaya viññāṇa. So this is the third one. Okay, we were just talking about the 12 link. So out of these 12, this is the third one. It's called the viññāṇa, or so-called the consciousness. So today what we will do it, talking about the consciousness or viññāṇa in Buddhism is actually a broad topic. Okay, but I try to make as much as possible understandable, reasonable, simple. Okay, because it's very difficult to bring down all the strength, the quality from that level to here, because otherwise there will be some kind of otherwise we will not get the meaning of it from its root. Okay, so that's why we'll try to talk, always try to come back to or go back to the roots. What is the consciousness? So it's not about the consciousness just as we feel like something about the mindfulness, something about the aware about the mind. It's not only that. So it goes beyond that. So we try to what the Buddha said and what the the Paticcasamuppada, the 12 links talking about this consciousness. So we will try to. And then I also had a plan today to read a sutta with all together, read sutta. And also originally I had a plan to read notes that I prepared for all of you regarding the meditation. Of course, it is easy for me to send out that notes about meditation, but I think going through that notes together and discuss about it and also reflect on some of the question is much better. So instead of sending those materials, we will try today to start that, and as we go we will continue that part for the meditation. And actually in the coming days I have collected some, for example I can show you. So when we talk about, there are two kind of meditation, right? Samatha vipassana, concentration meditations and insight meditation. So in the the insight meditation means to see the thing as it is, and concentration means to concentrate our mind, to make our mind into the one point, single point, the mind which is going around. So how to do that? To do that, there is some meditation object. So there is very famous books, especially in Pali Buddhism, so called the Visuddhimagga, the path of purification. In this book, it talks about 40 meditation object. You see the 40 meditation object. So we will talk about it, one by one, or maybe like as a collection in the coming days. So yeah, of course it's easy for me to send it to you. I will do it so you can go through it. But what does it means? We will talk about it one by slowly together. And another thing is that, as I said, what we discuss in here in person is actually much more what you see through the recordings and through the materials. So always discussion in the in person is always helpful. Okay, let's move to this one. And as you see, what is Viññāṇa? Okay, so in Sanskrit it's called the Viññāṇa. Okay, and one of the most popular term for this is actually consciousness. Of course, there are so many other translations, but it is very difficult to translate this term because the different context, different way, in different suttas, these terms appear. Okay, in the Pali Sutta, in ancient Buddhist sutras, this term, the Viññāṇa, appears many times, but different context and different way of interpretations, because according to that context. Okay, but here we will look it in a different from few perspective. For example, the Viññāṇa as aggregate, Viññāṇa as element, Viññāṇa as a ayatana, Viññāṇa how is go through samsara. And this is, of course, this interpretation is about, coming from the Pali Buddhism, so-called ancient Buddhism or early Buddhism. Because why I'm saying this, because later development there is some more added. For example, you may see Alaya Viññāṇa or Alaya consciousness is very famous. Later added things in different, other type of traditions. So I'm not going to that part. I'm not going to that side. What we'll talk about here is whatever we see or how these consciousness interpreted or give the interpretation in the ancient Buddhist sutras. Okay. So consciousness is life force, or it is about the mind. Okay, as you see, if somebody here, okay, Viññāṇa or Viññāṇa, what is it about? Oh, okay, it is about the consciousness. It is about the mind. It is about life force. What does life force means? Samsara actually. How from birth to birth this consciousness go through. So in the Pali Sutta, Viññāṇa is one of the three overlapping Pali terms used to refer to the mind. So okay, whenever talk about the early Buddhist sutras, okay, early Buddhist discourses, we always have three terms come together whenever they talk about mind. Okay, whenever they talk about the mind or metaphysics, there is a three terms. One is Chitta and Mano and Viññāṇa. Okay, Chitta also talking about to talk about mind, but even though these, in some sutta these terms come as like together and in this way, like order, like Chitta, Mano, Viññāṇa, like this, but it has different meaning. For example, simply give you now, Chitta here is thought that we think or thoughts. Okay, Mano is mind and Viññāṇa is consciousness. Okay, but all of these terms talk about mind, but difference what? Function, different aspect of mind. Okay, yeah. And as you see, this is very special terms in Buddhist metaphysics. So I think the point is this. So Viññāṇa is a mental quality as a consistent of individuality. And then last point is this point. bearer of life. Yeah, this is also very important. That means when we talk about the person, so it's the combination of mind and body, right? So in that mind and body, so this is connect with the mind part, name and form, okay, in that, and life force as the extending to the, means the bearer of individual, and it goes further. So it does not stop, okay, it does not stop in this life, it goes further. So life force as extending also over rebirths, okay. And next time also, this is also very important, last one, regenerative force animation, okay, mind as a transmigrate, as transferring, okay, one individual life into difference through, okay. So I think the words is cut here. So that means this Viññāṇa is play a very important role when a person go through this samsara. As I think we remember the karma, we were talking about the karma, right? So karma, so whatever we do, this all action, okay, like for example, we say sankara, right? Last time we were talking sankara. So sankara means something like whatever we do, it's becomes sankara. It can be the good sankara, it can be the bad sankara, it can be the another way is good karma or bad karma, and these simple action doing repeatedly again and again is become the sankara and is added to Viññāṇa. So Viññāṇa is like this until it's going like this. So karma will adapt, means like whatever I do is adding to the Viññāṇa through the sankara, and likewise I also have done last. So it's coming, it's going. So somebody will say, where to stop? So whenever you are able to enlighten, develop your mind, that is the moment that you will cut that chain, that there's no more further going. Okay? So we will see now, because of this consciousness, name and form start, name and form come to be. And nāmarūpaṃ that is the again. So at the end, as we see, like as we saw the dependent origination, because of the ignorance, the mental purification was there, and because the mental purification, now the consciousness are there, because the consciousness and name and form will be there. Why we're talking about the name and form is very important. We will come here. We will talk about here the conversation between the Buddha and Venerable Ananda. We will talk here. We will understand how the consciousness play a role for for someone's becoming or rebirth. Okay, but before that, just here understand that consciousness Viññāṇa is something like going through samsara. So whatever we do, as we said, karma means simply general action. Repeat things will become the sankara, for example, sankara, concrete, and it will be, of course, to the samsara, link of samsara, that is the consciousness. So in very simple way, try to understand, it is through the, Viññāṇa is go through this samsara, and it will be added even sankara. This Viññāṇa is come here because of the sankara. So it is difficult to give a single word for the Viññāṇa, okay, because there is a significant difference between the what ancient Buddhists understood about the Viññāṇa and modern people understand about the Viññāṇa. And as I said, these terms, okay, Viññāṇa appears many times in many contexts, even in the canon itself. So canon here, the early Buddhist teachings, okay. So again, you see, okay, here you will need to be clear. So in early Buddhist sutras, Viññāṇa, okay, consciousness, that means all part of consciousness. Now you may still not clear what is the consciousness, what part of my body, my life is consciousness, you will understand together. But in this moment, just try to understand, okay, consciousness is something about mind. The simply will be enough. Okay. Now, Viññāṇa is given as a synonym of Chitta and Mano, as we said. Okay. So, Chitta and Mano, Viññāṇa is come together. Okay. And this is the point here, in opposite to the body, as you said. Now, for the person and as an individual, I have two parts, mind and body. Okay. So now consciousness is with what? Mental part, which is opposite to the body. Did you get it what I'm saying? Mind and body. Okay. So to have a person, there should be two things, mental aspect and physical aspect. Okay. Name and form. So we will say, okay, name and form. Then you again analyze it, 5 aggregate. So in the 5 aggregate, or in the 5 aggregate, this consciousness is with the mental aspect. Okay, yeah. So that's why I say in opposition to the body. Body means kaya. So as we say, physical body and mental body. In other way, okay. A person is combination of two kind of body. What are the bodies? Mental body and physical body. And this consciousness is with the mental body. Okay, that's enough for now. Again, Viññāṇa was supposed, okay, at the body's death, okay, to pass over into another body. Can you get it? Like, okay, now when the person is passed away, so Viññāṇa is not there. From there, Viññāṇa, according to that person karma, he find another body. Okay, another body. So that means here what? Karma is something until we enlighten. Viññāṇa is is ongoing process. Maybe my Viññāṇa, my mental aspect is with it now, but once I passed away or I die, so what happened to my body? What happened to my mental aspect? What happened to my Viññāṇa? So that Viññāṇa will take place according to the karma. Okay. So what I'm saying, it will be very clear, the last one, but we have to wait a little bit. Okay. So you see, so Viññāṇa was supposed at the end of the death to pass over another body and so find the support of platform to continue that Viññāṇa until it liberated. Yeah. So, throughout the Pali literature, Viññāṇa is one of the several synonyms for the mental force that animates and otherwise intern to the material body. Same things what I said. So, okay, now in number of Pali texts, however, the term has a more nuance and the specific technical meanings in particular for the canon. Okay, here's, as I said again, these terms appear in many suttas, okay, but it has difference, its own specific meaning, okay. And now here we will say, in particular the Pali canon, that means, what is the Pali canon? Pali text. What is the Pali text? It's like this. I think the last time you was asking this question. So what the Buddha said, later on they are collected and they are write down all these things. So, I mean, no matter who you are, what tradition you are, everyone's is accept this early Buddhist teachings or early Buddhist sutras. Even the later part of Buddhism development, if they want to say, okay, this is the Buddhist, what the Buddha said, and they always try to make a link with this canonical text. So last week we were talking about some Abhidharma texts like Puggalavada in the theory, and some of the like Sarvastivada, Abhidharma. Somehow, so we came across like we found the things like when the opposition, I mean the other tradition wanted to say that, okay, this is what the Buddha said. So to prove that statement, they always go, okay, you see in the Agama, or I mean in the Pali Canon, especially they say the Agama, it said so. But interestingly, what I found is that they only what they want from that. They don't take the whole situation. They take, you see, Buddha said emptiness, everything. But what, when, how he said, what purpose? They don't take this. Everything Buddha said is emptiness. Only take quotation and develop the theory. Well, so this is how the philosophy actually developed. This is the, we have to appreciate that these are great masters, so who developed this philosophy. But then, so when I was working on that, Abhidharma, Sarvastivada, then I realized that some of the like modern scholars, they have said, actually, I mean, we happen to say that in the academic world, Buddhism is like a kind of philosophy. But if you really look the definition of the philosophy and what the Buddha said, in a way, this is not the philosophy. Yes, philosophical aspect can be seen in the Buddha Dharma, in the Buddha's teachings, but Buddha's teaching itself totally is not the philosophy. Okay, so in a way, I mean, something like it can be go beyond that. It's about like what is suffering. I mean, what the Buddha did is what the suffering and how to end the suffering. That's all. That's his aim was. So no, it was not like that. Okay, to tell one thing, I tell many example, and these many example bring many concept, and you are entangling this concept. So, I mean, those who study this kind of Buddhist teachings, especially about the mind, so if you are aware about the whole context, it's fine to go, I mean, to enter any part of philosophical things and investigate and talk about it and try. But you need to be careful because you need to be whole pictures. Otherwise, you will be, I mean, you don't know where to move. So, yeah. So what I want to say is here is simply in this, so Pali Canon is what the Buddha said, and that these are the teachings of the Buddha recorded. And every tradition today, they are, of course, without any arguments, they accept this agama, so-called the agama, or like early Buddhist teaching or text. Okay. Okay. So there is, especially there is one Sutta Pitaka, that means the only discourses. So in there, the Viññāṇa generally translated the consciousness, and is in the various contexts and time. Okay, I said many. Let me summarize. Just try to know few sentences. Viññāṇa means something about mind. It is coming with many others terms, which is also talk about mind. Okay. This consciousness, or so-called the Viññāṇa, have different meaning in different context. Okay. And this is the Viññāṇa play the role for our samsara, in the samsara. And this Viññāṇa should be there for the origin of a beings. Okay, this was important things. Yeah. So I think that's enough. What I have discussed from that. If you know, if you have a little bit idea about it, that should be enough. And then what we will see, where the term consciousness appears and talk about it. Okay. So Viññāṇa, okay, Viññāṇa also divided or classified as one of the sense bases. This is called the ayatana. Okay, we will study. And Viññāṇa also one of the aggregate of clinging, upadana, at the root of suffering. Why? This is a very interesting thing. Why? If I aggregate, we attach to it and we suffer it. Okay, that's why it says. So here main point is Khanda. Okay, Viññāṇa also one aspect of 5 aggregate. Okay, then. And also this term Viññāṇa also appears in the dependent origination that we are talking about, right? This is what we're talking about, Viññāṇapaccayā nāmarūpaṃ, and which is provide the template for the Buddhist notions of karma and rebirth and release. Release means attainment. Okay. Okay, here are the things. Now you see the ayatana, right? So now we will look one by one. In Buddhism, the 6 sense bases, salayatana, refers to the 5 physical sense organs and the mind together. Okay, here the full stop. Okay, now listen. Okay, in Buddhism there is called the 6 sense. Okay, 5 aggregate plus or mind. Okay, 5 aggregate plus mind. So mind is 6th. Okay, and these sense have their own associate object. So what are the sense? Like my eye. Okay, this is the ayatana, the base. And what is the object of my eye? Is visual form, whatever I see, right? So my eye is there. What I sees the form. Okay, whatever the external world that I can see, the glass, water, whatever it is. Of course, this is called the conventional truth, whatever it is. Okay, we don't have to go that way, but let's just simply see. Okay, I is there. I have the object. The object is visual form. Okay, whatever we see, and the ear. So we have the ear. Okay, this is the ayat. So what is the object of it? Sound. Okay, my ear and the sound, and the nose, the smell, tongue, taste, and body, touch, and mind. What is the mind? Mental object. For the mind, so mind cannot touch, but we touch mentally. Okay, so that is also a mental object. We will talk about it more. Now you see there are six forms, right? 6 are physical and its object, and then from the 6 sense base a number of mental factors arise, including 6 type of classes of consciousness. So because of my eye, because of what I see, and there is some consciousness arise. So this is called eye consciousness. Now you know what is the consciousness. Now if you understand, try to understand this. If you can see these 6, right, the more clear. 6 senses are there. My eye, my nose, my ear, my mind. There are 6, and it has all object. And because of my physical and its physical sense, I mean my eye and the pictures, whatever it is, the form I see, and because of these two, there is consciousness called the eye consciousness. Mental aware. How do I can? Of course you understand it, but try it. What is this? It's a bag, a small bag, right? So you have eye, open eye. You saw it, then you have an idea. Oh, this is a small bag. What is this? It's a cup. You have the eye, you saw it, and there is an awareness in your mind, a consciousness. Oh, this is cup. Something like that. So in like that, how many? The 6, 6, 6. So each have the 6 body, I mean consciousness. So the consciousness are called ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, and mind consciousness. Is it one busy? Eye consciousness. Yes, eye consciousness is missing. Please. Oh yes, it's there. That is consciousness based on eye. Yeah. So yeah, it's come here. Okay. You see, I try to make it simple actually. It was very, in a very other way. So eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body and mind consciousness. Okay. Now what I said is again here is again. For example, to understand more what I said, when ears respective field, that means its related field, ear and its related field, sound are together, are present, the associate ear related consciousness arise. So if you, for example, now if you are listening something, you put your, what is called, the earphone. Yeah, your earphone is there. You have your earphone, but you cannot hear what I'm saying. So there is no idea about what I'm saying. So here simply is that My ear should be clear, sound should be there, my ear plus sound, and there is words, the consciousness, that is called the ear consciousness. Okay, so like that. Now, the arising of these three means what? Ear, sound, and ear consciousness. Now again, we are going further. Ear, sound, and ear consciousness leads us something the perceived called the perception. It's become the perception. How you perceive. No, it's called the precept. So it's like the feelings are there. So Viññāṇapaccayā, okay, that's on the way. Known as the turns cause as a pleasant feeling. So what you hear, means ear is there, sound is there, the consciousness is there, and you start to feeling. Is it good words or bad words or happy words or unhappy words? Something like that. And of course, the craving, clinging to the words, and all this started like that. So here I would like to say one thing. Of course, I also mention here. This principle, the 12 links, is actually appears differently in different sutras. Okay. Sometimes it starts with the birth and death, jara marana. Sometimes it starts with the ignorance, and I think the Nidana Sutta is a different form. So, but anyhow, here you have to know is that because of three elements leads to the the feelings are there. Okay. So I tried to find some suttas to make it more to give more ideas. So there is one sutta is called the Sabba Sutta. Sabba means all, all, everything. Okay, Sabba means everything, all. So there was sutta which is talking about the Sabba, everything. Okay, so in this sutta the Buddha talk about that there is no all. Okay, there is nothing. There is no all, and the within Kama outside of these 6 pairs of sense base. So you cannot find anything in your life